All right, we're at Tuesday Bible study. I wanted to say it was Wednesday Bible study because I've been thinking ahead, but I'm trying to move this week along too fast, aren't I? It's just Tuesday, but that's okay. All right, so we're in Daniel 6. I make a decree, this is Darius, the Mede, that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Well, we said we would go back and take a look at it. That's Darius the Third, which is different than Darius the Mede. But this was an artificial intelligent YouTube site that put this up there, giving us many clues, but also throwing us off. There are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. It already states the 7 in the Bible verse. So, and I've been tricked many times. I've tricked myself many times. I've gone back and forth on this many times. How do I sign in? Wow. Sorry about that. I've already got this. Oh, I'm in a New Living Translation. That's why. Duh. I was like, what in the world's going on? If this is the Bible gateway I'm logged into, then I've already got it marked up. There it is. There's all the colors. I was like wondering, like, ooh. Okay. There are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is. So that means 2 of the 7 kings are not fallen, because it's already stating 7 kings. It's already stating 5 are fallen. And we know that the Antichrist is one of the 5 that's fallen. Boy, this picture's always pulled up. I don't have to keep looking it up. There are 7 kings, 007, 1 through 7. And the beast that was the 7th and is not the 7th when he takes on his deadly wound, because the Antichrist receives a deadly wound. Even he is the 8th. That's when he returns from the dead. That's part of the deception. He is Christ returning from the dead, but he is Antichrist returning from the dead, and is of the 7. Jeez, why do I keep pressing? I've got to be honest with y'all. I'm halfway daydreaming while I'm doing this. Like I'm thinking about like 10 different things going on, and my mind's just drifting. Sorry about that. So there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. We're going to go ahead and say Nebuchadnezzar and Darius the Mede are first and second, not Darius the third. So they tripped us. They did a little trick with these photos. And this was a YouTube site called Angel White, who was the main YouTube channel that showed me that Donald Trump was the Antichrist. They were telling you the truth. But then they'd take you off down these wrong rabbit holes and so forth. And I believe that's Darius the Mede right there. And then you've got 5 that are fallen, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course 007, James Bond, which is who James Bond represents, 007. And then it says, even he is the 8th, but is of the 7th. That's because of the twin towers, the twin Trumps. Okay, so anyway, I finally now, and I told you we would revisit it when we got to the part in Daniel that described Darius. Anyway, and you can go, I hope you watch this from the beginning of my Daniel or my second Daniel series. This is found on my Bible study channel. It's called Daily Bible Studies. You click the playlist and you go to Second Daniel Study, and you want to watch it from the beginning. All right, so and yesterday's is loaded. There we go. So if you did, and you've watched all of these in order, then you do remember that I told you we would revisit that. All right, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, now this is going back to Babylon. Before the Medes and the Persians came in to take over. So we're backtracking now. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake. Now, by the way, this is your Antichrist chapter of Daniel. This is the chapter that speaks of Donald Trump, the little horn of Daniel 7. A trump is a horn is a trump, is a horn, is a trumpet, is a horn. They are all synonyms. So please keep in mind that when we get to the passages concerning the horn and or little horn, that Trump would be here in his own name, which Jesus said the Antichrist would be here in his own name. That's in John chapter 5, verse 43. Read it in the King James. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. But if one shall come in his own name, him you will receive. Guess who's on both temple coins over there in the land where Jesus was speaking, who he was speaking to at the time? He told them, him you will receive. And Trump is on both temple coins. And the Antichrist declares himself to be God in the holy place, in the coming third temple. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. So now we're backtracking, because now we're going to get into some of Daniel's visions. Well, I've drank some water, and I think that's up. I think I was a little dehydrated, a little brain fog. I mean, I'm out in the sun all day, and then came home and sat out in the sun so my arms will match my chest. And still hadn't had any water since like 1 o'clock, like 5-6 hours ago. So yeah, I'll start, because I hydrate really heavy in the morning and throughout the day, but yeah, big help. So anyway, let's move on to John chapter 10, verses 3 through 13. Let's give it a shot in the New Living, at least first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All the verses are here, because in the New Living, some are removed. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him. The sheep recognize his voice and come to him. Ah, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. This is later on in verses 26 through 29. Some of my favorite one of my favorite passages in all the Bible. Let's try it in the King James and see if I can do okay with it. To him the porter openeth, the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. You see, Jesus said in Matthew 15:24, I only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And those are the ones that he has known from before the foundation of the world, according as he have chosen us. Don't you choose your bride? Or does somebody just make a free will decision and that's who you're married to? No, Jesus chose his bride before the foundation of the world. And we're the ones that are going to be holy and without blame. But you will be called to repentance. You will get called out of the world. You will go through much tribulation to enter the kingdom. That is clearly stated in Acts 14:22. We all know that through much tribulation, we enter into the kingdom. Because when you start getting, Jesus said, the world hated me before it hated you, but I have called you out of the world. Therefore, the world hates you. Look like a spam call to me, man. Anyway, so Jesus said, the world hated me before it hated you, but I have called you out of the world. So you get called out of the world. It's not like you're just chosen and you can just run along and fornicate and celebrate Christmas. And yeah, no. He's going to call you out of the world. So at some point, you're going to get that call. And I don't expect any of y'all to be as far as long as where I'm at. So don't say, well, Trey doesn't celebrate Christmases anymore. So I guess that means, you know, I need to get out of birthdays, but I can't seem to get out of birthdays. And since I can't get out of birthdays, does that mean I'm not one of Jesus's? Don't worry about that. The Lord, if you're his, he'll get to you eventually. And if it's not until World War III and or the Great Tribulation, then you won't have to worry about birthdays anyway. So, you know, but you'll start going through your tribulation in other ways. So, but right now in my walk and in my path, yeah, I don't do Christmas. I don't do birthdays. I don't do any of that pagan stuff. And as far as the birthday is concerned, just briefly, all that's about is going back to the time Jesus was born and he received gifts because he was a king. But they never re-celebrated the birthday ever in his life. That's nowhere to be found in the Bible. That Jesus or that anybody celebrated Jesus's birthday. The only birthdays mentioned being celebrated in the Bible are the pagans. At the time when John the Baptist got his head chopped off by the pagans. But they're making everybody a king. They're making everybody a god. And they don't just shower you with the gifts the day you were born. They do it every year. And you know, birthday is important in the pagan world. That's how you get your astrology. The porter openeth, the sheep hear his voice. He calleth his own sheep by name. He knows them, which is just the opposite of when Jesus said, I never knew you. This is also going to go back to Romans. Romans 8, 29 and 30. For whom he did foreknow, he knows them all by name. He foreknew them. When? Before the foundation of the world. He knew his sheep. Jesus said, I only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Oh, in the King James, it is, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep. But the way we speak, he said, I am only sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's it. That's all I'm sent for. Sheep are born lost. Goats are born goats. A goat cannot morph into a sheep from some free will decision. And a sheep cannot morph into a goat. For whom he did foreknow, which is the exact opposite of what? Matthew 7:23. I never knew you, you workers of iniquity, or ye that work in iniquity. He calls them by their names, he leads them out, and when he puts forth his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him. I can't go inside a church today and listen to these people. There's nothing but false teachings coming out of their mouths. For they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things which he had spoke unto them. Then Jesus said unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. I'll tell you, I'd rather talk to somebody that does not attend a church. The people that attend churches on a regular basis seem to just be in a cult, and you just can't make heads nor tails with them. The people that the Lord seems like he has sent me to the most seem to be those that believe in God, believe in Jesus, but they're just kind of wandering. They're just kind of wandering around. Just because they've had nothing but thieves and robbers, wolves in sheep's clothing before them. And then when you start telling them the truth for the first time, bingo. It's like, because Jesus is the truth, they're hearing Jesus for the first time. Not me, but they're hearing the truth. Jesus is the truth. That's what our job is to do. Feed the sheep. Feed the sheep. Give them the truth. It'll either run them off and they'll hate you, and now you're getting tossed out of the world at an even deeper level, more and more each day, or there's a sheep for you to feed, bring along. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd, which is just the opposite of the Antichrist. Who is that? Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Now, why didn't I make that in red and put that in blue? Yeah, that way I and I are in green, arm and arm are in red, and idle shepherd's in blue. Yay. I just feel like that's a small victory. I'm just meticulous like that. Woe to the idle shepherd. That's the Antichrist. His right eye is where he's going to take the deadly wound. And Jesus is saying, I'm not the idle shepherd. I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. Let's read this in New Living. Yes, I'm at the gate. Those who come through me will be saved. They will not come and they will come and go through the passage. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him, and he isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. The hired hand runs away because he's working only for the money and doesn't care about the sheep. And of course, Jesus laid his life down for the sheep. The wolf catches them and scatters the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. Okay. I just wanted to get that more in the New Living. I think that helped us out a little bit. Love y'all very much. Ask questions.